closing out the year, closing out our animated series. We're talking about the hit Kpop Demon Hunters.
We are, and it was great. And everyone agrees because it has like a really high score on everything and also has like taken the world by storm. Yeah.
But let's hop in. I have a lot to say. I'm sure you're expecting
many
that.
words.
I
also looked in mine and I was like, oh God, this is going to be a long one. Hopefully not too long.
Yeah. I'm going to do my best to keep it, concise and hopefully, educational for you. I'm sure it's not anything you haven't heard before. So let's talk about Kpop Demon Hunters, which came out this year. It's crazy, like brand new. And it is about a world-renowned K-pop group balance their lives in the spotlight with their secret identities as Demon Hunters. And it's directed by Chris Applehans and Maggie Kane. But let me tell you more about what Kpop Demon Hunters is about, and then we'll get into the themes and these characters specifically. I wanted to talk about them. So Kpop Demon Hunters is a magical, vibrant, and gut-punching animated film with catchy, thought-provoking songs, beloved pop stars, and a lot of character growth. Following the famous K-pop band HUNTR, who are so much more than a highly talented group of musicians, they're also badass demon hunters. Using their music and voices, they seek to heal the Han Moon, a magical barrier keeping demons out of our world. So Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, HUNTR, are close to doing what generations of musicians before them have sought to do: seal the Han Moon for good, turning it golden, which is their titular song. Only as the golden Han Moon becomes clearer and closer than ever, lead vocalist Rumi struggles with the loss of her voice and begins to buckle under the weight of a dark secret, because she is half demon.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh no, she did.
Yeah.
So Rumi is the daughter of a former famous singer who had fought to seal the Han Moon alongside group mate Celine, who has now taken on the challenge of raising Rumi after the mother's death. Celine has trained the girls to fight demons and for Rumi to fight her demon nature, her history, by suppressing the shit out of it. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about anything, right? We're not talking about our pains, trials, tribulations, none of that. Just keep it tight to your chest. And while battling her...
Lock that shit down.
Yeah, it's weakness. We don't do that. We're hunters. We're not in therapy.
While
battling her internal challenges and an ill-timed vocal rest during their new album release, HUNTR encounters new competition for the K-pop music charts, a boy band, the Saja Boys. Not only are they hot, talented, and quickly taking over their fandom, they're also demons themselves, sent by the demon lord Guima to take care of these singing heroines once and for all. Can't get any worse. Lead Saja boy Jinu discovers Rumi's dark secret and forms an unlikely connection with her. They slowly develop a plan and feelings for each other to take down Guima while actively fighting each other on the charts and in the streets. Rumi's best friends and fellow performers become concerned by her growing relationship and shady behavior while Rumi continues to grapple with those things herself. She's like, I get it. We're all kind of doing weird stuff right now. In the end, the Saja Boys nearly defeat the girls, hosting a large soul-sucking concert, been to one of those, that nearly destroys the world as Guima wanted. But after accepting her flaws, history, and hidden strengths stemming from those very pains, Rumi is able to fight back against the demonic Saja Boys, give Jinu a chance at redemption, and finally seal the golden Han Moon alongside her besties.
Yep.
It is a children's story.
Yeah.
So we don't have the end.
However, instead of just a hot boy, it was a hot sword.
Yeah, but it's also like hot internal healing and growth.
Yeah, hot internal healing and growth. Absolutely.
We don't need a hot boy to save us, right? This is like Merida, She's like, I don't need that. I just need to take my mom, and she turned into a bear. Turned my mom into a bear. Yeah. But I will mention that as much as this is a children's film, it takes some unexpected turns. Like at the ending for me, I was like aghast. I was talking about it in therapy for weeks. So let's talk about letting your darkness meet the light and how we can heal our pain on our own. So Kpop Demon Hunters has become a cultural phenomena, taking the charts and our hearts by storm. While the spotlight is firmly on Rumi and her struggle to embrace the darker half of herself, her bandmates have their own shadowed history. Their music does more than seal the honeymoon. It heals pieces of the artists themselves and the fans who are inspired by their vulnerable lyrics. Huntrix find strengths in the love they have for each other, their friendship, a safe haven for them to be true to themselves, to repair the damage done by their families, and to be fully known. So starting with Zoe, our adorable and talented rapper, she is Korean American and largely misunderstood. She straddles two lives, similar to that of someone biracial. She's binational, not able to firmly exist in one. Seen as too American for Koreans and too Korean for Americans, she struggles with people pleasing and has a strong desire to fit in because of this. She's needing to essentially code switch when existing in either world, right? She has to kind of be a little less a part of herself in either of these places. Her constant switch from adorable to scary is also a representation of this. Like, it's a part of her like persona, and like she's like, you know, a hard rapper, but she's also absolutely adorable. Definitely one of my favorites. As part of Huntrix, those parts of her deemed weird or different are embraced when she seamlessly molds American language into her lyrics, using words that are otherwise difficult for Korean first language learners. I think specifically I saw an article talking about her using words that start with L. That's not like an easy thing for like Korean language first rappers to do. She also blends her American knowledge into the lyrics as well. We see this in her, okay, I know I ramble, but when shooting my words, I go Rambo, which is historically an American hero. He's doing some shady stuff in Asian countries, if anything. Question mark. But it's a great line. And also the like, I know I ramble is her embracing a little bit of her like overexcited self as well. So I relate heavy. Huntrix allows Zoe to be her true self, and that resonates strongly with her fans. However, with Rumi clearly holding something back, it makes Zoe feel like she's not quite good enough or important enough for Rumi, which can lead to overcompensating. So she begins to rewrite the lyrics to take down over and over and over, desperate to fix what is clearly broken. And in the end, her found family accepts her for her perfectionist and odd truth. Right? Like, we love that you're our little weirdo. Then we have Mira, who is what I'm dressed as for people who are watching us, is our apathetic, entirely too cool member who says she was labeled a problem child because she got too wild. But now that's how she's getting paid, you know? She's giving oldest daughter, which is funny because she's not the oldest daughter of her family. But she gives that with the way like she shoulders her bandmates' emotions as her responsibility. She is strong and often confronts problems head on. We see very little about her family through the portraits in their Golden music video, but we see her mother, father, and brother, who all seem like wealthy, upright citizens, with her in the center being authentically herself, which is the problem, right? Mira has embraced the two wild parts of herself, challenging social norms like attending the Met Gala, a famously wealth showcase event. Like, you go there to show how much money you have. She arrives in a sleeping bag, which is a really big FU to that structure. She's like, that's how cool I am, first of all. That's how little I give a shit about your little display. And she made it cool. And then Audrey Nuna, fun thing, also attended like one of the screenings in a very sleeping bag inspired outfit. Audrey Nuna is Mira's vocal. Mira essentially exists as a big fuck you to the upper class world she disconnected herself from. So instead, she finds meaning in that found family and her fans. Right? Now, to the big one. So Rumi's trauma is the core focus of the film, and we watch as the concealment of her true identity takes a physical toll on her. Just as we explored in our I Saw the TV Glow review, the act of performing an identity untrue to yourself can be incredibly harmful, leaving you scarred, broken, and that much closer to death. We discussed it. It literally can make death a little easier for your body, right? For many of us who've had to silence or mute pains we experience, whether that's mental health challenges, visible and invisible disabilities, chronic illness, or even complex racial identities, this resonates heavy. When our mental well-being suffers, our physical health is affected. Forced to cover up her skin and put the patterns in the past now, and deny the parts of her deemed dark, flawed, and dangerous, Rumi ends up literally silenced, losing her voice, which is her one weapon for not only the Hanmoon, but her truth. She can't even, speak on her own behalf. As Rumi begins to develop feelings and compassion for Jinu, she is slowly allowed to accept the good in the parts of herself she'd labeled bad. As she flinches away at the hurtful lyrics and takedown, she has to acknowledge why they hurt. One such lyric is, "A demon with no feelings doesn't deserve to live." It's so obvious. It also has so many of your soul is hideous. You're disgusting.
Yeah.
It hurt. I listened to it and I'm like, ow. To think and feel that about anyone. And then the fact that Rumi's also that's what you really feel about me, just makes that harder. When ignoring her own demonness, could easily distance herself from this label, but as her patterns creep over her skin stronger each day, she's no longer able to ignore her role in this narrative. And if Jinu is a full demon, but worthy of redemption, then she will have to confront her own capacity for redemption. And I relate to this as someone who can easily forgive and find compassion for others while denying myself the same grace. I get that constantly in, therapy. I get that question of well, if, someone that you cared about had these same questions and guilt and, punish themselves, would you let them do that? And I'd be like, no, I protect. They're allowed to make a mistake. They're allowed to feel their feelings. And they're like, what about you? And I'm like, no. no,
Stop it.
Exemption right here.
No.
Right. And that's just that's not an abnormal thing. There's a lot of people out there who have a similar struggle to give themselves that grace and patience and understanding and forgiveness that they would so easily give someone that they care about, or even just a young person. Right? If you change the narrative of okay, what if Rumi had to tell a young half demon child that she was evil? Would Rumi do that? No.
Probably not.
She would be like, no, you're worth it. You're worthy, right? And so I think having her have to slowly forgive and find compassion and for redemption for Jinu means she has to look at her own demonness and be like, oh, okay. Well, this guy who's done some questionable things is forgivable. I think I probably am too.
I am, yeah.
Her guardian, Celine, someone who should love her unconditionally, had carved harm into Rumi with each reprimand and demand for silence. When the one person you look to for guidance on how to exist in the world demands that you ignore and suppress a core part of yourself, you grow into an approximation of who you were meant to be. She lived as a fragmented self, as they say, broke into a million pieces and we can't go back. Rumi was forced to become a performer every day, not just on stage. This only further isolated her from those who loved her and the world that admired her. And while the Huntrix songs in the beginning of the film were both healing the Hanmoon and Hunter, Zoe, and Mira from their trauma, Rumi was unhealable. You can't grow and heal while in a constant state of survival. You first need to see the beauty in the broken glass.
Use all those lyrics.
Yeah, they're in there because they're so good. This challenge is one quite familiar to myself and to other young people who have had to struggle against their own otherness. For those who are neurodivergent, queer, biracial, or any other tag of identity strongly misunderstood by the larger world, Rumi's last heartbreaking conversation with Celine can hit far too close to home. Celine's plea of "I did my best to accept you" is like a knife straight to the heart. That scene, I was like, how dare you put that in the middle of my fun time cartoon. I was ha ha ha, and now I'm sobbing. Why are you putting my life out there? What's happening? And what struck me hardest and stays with me longer and louder than any of the incredibly catchy songs is how unlike an animated children's movie this scene's resolution is. Because when Rumi asks, "Why couldn't you love me? All of me?" she is left with an unlikely answer because Celine still fears her and doubles down on the need to hide Rumi's indecent truth. She still believes Rumi needs to be fixed. Right? And it's only natural to expect in a coming of age story such as like this, with punchy lyrics, fun colors, and adorable creatures, for Rumi to leave that conversation with her mother figure feeling loved, supported, and finally free from the burden of being a disappointment. That's the natural trajectory of a children's
they're
story.
supposed to fix it. Yeah.
Is that this mother would be like, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
I love you so much now.
Just as you are.
Let me make up for all that time.
And who amongst us has not desired that very resolution? Those very same words to be spoken to us. I'm sorry. I see you now. I love you for who you are. Like, ow, 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 ow. Because that's not what we get, right? Instead, Rumi is denied an apology. She isn't truly seen or understood, and she has to leave on her own, her back straight, and feeling a firm belief in herself without her mother's unconditional love and support. And if you have ever struggled with the need for approval, to hear an apology from someone whom you love who has wronged you, then this scene hurts. It was inspiring to watch as Rumi is able to fight back stronger than ever after embracing darkness for herself and without her mother's acceptance. And it is a very, very hard thing to do, to exist and like continue to move forward without the apology, without the acknowledgement of the pain that they did to you, parental figures especially, is really difficult and generally takes years of therapy sometimes. And she did it all on her own. So kudos to you, baby girl. You did it. Next,
and that's what the therapy usually tells you too, is like that you can't depend upon the apology from somebody else. You need to do it yourself. So it's actually more honest than a lot of media that usually exists will give us. Usually they won't even say that part to us. It's always that they forgive in some way. So yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah, like that's painful. Literally like what, because you know, in therapy, that's something I was like working with myself, where I was just like, oh, I'd love an apology, and it is a very hard thing. Like, and that's for anyone that's wronged you in your life, right? Like you love the idea of someone feeling this need to be redeemed, and so they go on their little apology tour and they like text you one day and they're like, hey, I'm really sad about how that worked out, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And to be honest, there's plenty of people I could be texting and saying that very same thing and I'm not, you know. And so like I think exactly like you're saying, that was something that stuck out to me, was I was like, that's such a hard thing to do. And I think it's really speaks to the power and the impact of this film, that it could offer an alternative, this like ending where she still wins, she's still powerful and she's still like strong, but she's still hurt. And like, it's not like you can't live in that future without that, right? Like you don't have all the answers, and not everything gets wrapped up into a bow. We just have to keep living. And so we keep getting stronger, we keep living our life. And so I think for people who maybe are struggling with that, this idea of, I can't move forward until I get an apology. If you watch this,
you might not get that.
Maybe it inspires you to realize, like, you don't need it, babe. You're good.
Yeah.
Like, you can't control that person. You cannot. So you have to figure out, how do I live my life without it? Because you're never going to.
I mean, one additionally powerful thing is that, like, also Zoe and Mira had not yet forgiven her, or like vice versa. Like, they hadn't resolved their conflict when she started singing the last song, and she was still strong enough to try to do it on her own. And then the found family did show up and did apologize. So it's like, you can only accept some, you get some balance of it. Like, the people who want to be with you in your most authentic self will show up, and the ones who can't, you gotta let them go.
Right. And I will say too, I think one of the bigger things, like, it's because she was like half demon, but I think the biggest issue was that she kept it a secret. So they felt more like you didn't trust us enough. You didn't love us enough. We weren't important enough to you that you could share that part of yourself with you, that you were just hurting in the dark. And so like that's like, it's insulting, it's hurtful, and it's like heartbreaking for like the found family and aspect of that. And so I think, when it came to that ending, it was like, okay, well, if you're embracing it, Like, I think I can see the struggle that it was, and I can love you and forgive you for this. So let's move to the next thing. So, keeping you obsessed, the toxicity of idol culture. So the Saja Boys, as our villains, also highlight the complex toxicity behind idol culture in Korea. Considering they are demons and villains, I think they best show us how young creatives can be corrupted, manipulated, and twisted by the industry. Their name Saja can have two meanings, one being a lion, so they're like this fierce, predator. Arguably, male lions are not. But the other is connected to the Korean version of the Grim Reaper, the Jeoseong Saja, which they later dress up as during their Your Idol performance. So the tall hats with the wide brim and the black cloak. I read a lot of manhwa, and there's often a very hot Grim Reaper. If people want some spicy Rex, I have them for you. The Jeoseong Saja Grim Reaper isn't a bringer of death, but is more of a guide, a psychopomp of sorts, right? They bring you through the other worlds. The Saja Boys are certainly ushering souls to an afterlife, only more aggressive than their mythological counterpoints. Their mythological counterparts. Idol culture is strong and obsessive, with the line between artists and their fans heavily blurred and giving a new level to parasocial relationships. It's way intense, more than I think we see with other celebrities, because it's normalized. And it's not a far leap to assume that these idols have a firm grasp on the souls of their fans. They really be doing that. I've been there. I'm Stan, I'm an army. But the boys themselves are representations of the toxic aspects of idol culture. Abby, as the hottie of the group and often bursting out of his clothes, represents the over-sexualization of idols. And my Instagram feed can confirm the thirst is real. The group, a tease indeed, is literally full of Abbies. You could just watch some of these cuts of their concerts, and I'm like, take me, I want to go. For the music industry, the motto "sex sells" has always reigned supreme, and while most of the idols, both male and female, are young as fuck, they're sexualized immediately and in specifically gendered ways. So I think of a very delicate sexual expectation for the female K-pop artists, and then we're putting them in crop tops and sexualizing them, and they're 17. Romance is the personification of the parasocial relationships mentioned earlier. He exists as an illusion of the potential romance between idol and fan, right? Who hasn't read a One Direction romance? Jonas Brothers, Joe was going to see me in the concert and take me away, right? It's that, much larger, and he's accessible to us, and he's just one meet cute at a concert away from being in love with us. That's what he kind of shows in there as well, is he's just fall in love with me. Mystery is the secrecy of the idol's true identity, having to put on a persona to offer their fans that allows their true self to be preserved. He literally hides his face, while in reality, idols put on a different one, right? They have different names, and they might have a different stereotype, like we're seeing with these boys. I like this one. A fun fact of when I first was really getting into BTS and I was talking about all the boys, which one was my favorite, my friend June was like, oh, this is just We Bare Bears, when one of the bears was really into a K-pop group and was oh, this one's the sporty one and this one's the thing, and I was like, yeah, exactly. They're so just funny. Like that. This one is funny, and this one's the adult. He's the oldest, and so he takes care of them.
Or Sporty Spice Babies, but
right, exactly. So they put on that they're known for this specific persona. Brand. Yeah, but then it's not their real name. They change it and twist it up. I don't know if Rosé's real name is Rosé. Probably not.
Yeah.
Baby is our infantilization of these idols, which exists in a weird relationship with the over-sexualization of them. It's a tango of sorts. Some fans drool over a tease reasonably. Have you seen these concerts? I'm just saying. Just look it up once and your feed will be infected. While others baby girl them. They baby girlify their idols. I think of specifically the growth of Jungkook post BTS. His rise to solo stardom, reminiscent of the former Disney star turned sexy dad trajectory that we see with child performers in America.
That's
like
sexy dad.
You know, when it's like, I'm not
I know how you're
I'm
saying
not
it's
Hannah
so
Montana
funny.
anymore. Like I'm not Christina Aguilera. I'm Ixtina. You know, like
Yeah.
the like
Sabrina
we have
Carpenter.
to go straight
Yeah.
really hard into like sexy. From, you know, just being cute. And he did that.
Yeah.
He was just a sweetie who liked art. And then he was like, I got all these tattoos and these abs, and now I'm going to make all these songs about sex. And I'm just like, how dare, you're a baby. You're not allowed. But he grew up, and while he is very much an adult now, and so he can absolutely say about it, he definitely is having sex, everybody. Just so you know, he totally is doing that, and he's allowed. So many fans, myself included, had a hard time reconciling the sweet little boy we saw grow up with BTS, now shirtless, tattooed, and grinding on stage. Right? When Lado is saying those things to him, I'm like, stop his precious ears. You're corrupting him. And it's like, that's okay. He's a grown-ass man.
And he's probably like, yeah, nice.
He's like, it's cool. This is really great. I love that. Many fans shared their takes and disappointment of the sexualization of the otherwise pure identity they'd built around Jungkook. Like, it was a thing at the time when his album was hitting. And it's a great album. I highly recommend. Finally, there's Jinu, our big bad and leader of the Saja Boys. His backstory is where we get a lot of the toxicity behind the culture, right? Leaving behind and essentially sacrificing his family for fame and power. He has given so much to the industry, and now, after getting all that he dreamed of, discovers the true price to his fame: isolation, guilt, and the crippling weight of perfection. He's just all the bad. At what cost? You know, now he has to become a sword. Whether fighting our internal demons or the toxicity of idol culture, Kpop Demon Hunters teaches us to have more compassion for performers. After all, they're people too. Even demons are people too. You know, they were people once. Everyone has their own battle they're facing in the dark, so let's all be kinder to each other, giving grace and creating a space that allows us to more easily let the jagged edges meet the light.